Hi, so continuing on for the meso level, also for the involvement on the community level is there's a program called trauma treatment on the systems level programs, and what they do is they actually come into the program and they help set up your environment and your center for people who have experienced the trauma, so that way when they come into the program or their services, the environment and the people, the way that the professionals approach these victims, is it reduces the risk of re-traumatization. Um, Also, they provide trainings for the staff members and professionals, and they're also interventions for the agencies. So um, they're also know more of how to interact and with people who have suffered um, from trauma. So on the macro level is just being involved in research and the public policy, just like the Following Act. One of the newest legal legislation in 2014 was the Preventing Sex Trafficking and Strengthening Families Act. Requires certain agencies to develop policies and procedures to identify, document, and determine appropriate services for children under the placement of care or supervision of a child welfare agency, and who are at risk of becoming sex trafficking victims or victims of sex trafficking. Um, Without doing research, it's harder to prove our point. So with research and gathering data and taking surveys and questionnaires, you have the proof to show the agencies, to grants, and to the government of like, hey, this is a problem. And so with the statistics, we're able to show that, hey, we need funding. And so just being along in in the process really helps and requires a lot of assertiveness. But once you have this information, you're able to provide it, then the law and government can just really make a difference on the macro level. So to kind of close up and with the conclusion is um, there are so many laws and acts and programs that do assist with this problem. Um, but it's still happening and it's still an issue. Um, for example, also in that same video, um, it talks about how there's sex trafficking that's happening in barbershops, and so the exploiters are becoming very creative in the way that they're providing these services to people. Um, so it can make it very difficult for the people who are trying to shut um, these services down. It makes it a lot harder for us to find where things are happening because people are constantly walking in and out of barbershops, so it doesn't look suspicious. Um, for anyways, also just having more implementation of prevention programs, because this will help strengthen the family dynamics in general, and with this, implementing these services into where families are having, like I stated at the beginning, just the drug and alcohol problems, or the discord in the family, um, and this is where children start to feel alone and neglected, and the abuse does happen. So helping the family dynamic just be stronger, it can lessen the possibilities of the child feeling neglected or abused, and um, and so they're not going to be they're not going to be looking for attention and wanting to leave. So this will lead to having less issues at home. The girls and the boys um, will will feel less likely to want to leave their home because they're getting the attention at home from their parents. Also, just notifying people about the services, so that they can know where to go. So, going into the strip clubs, or going onto street corners, or going onto even to the programs, and providing more information about other services that they can go to as well, because there's so many things that I don't even know about, and if you're not specifically looking for it, it can be really difficult to know that the services are out there. So just educating people about it, educating other professionals, and educating people who are in the services already, or who are in the hotels, or if they are in the jail systems, having the police officers say, hey, this is where you can go to be safe, and this is where, or this is like some type of therapy service where you can kind of help regain your life back, and not get involved into this sex trafficking again. Um, they're looking for easy money, and they're wanting the attention. So um, the exploiters are looking for people who are vulnerable, and before they realize it, um, men, women, children are women are they're they're getting into sex trafficking before they even really realize it. Um, so how you can make a difference is um, when you are in therapy, just assessing for the sexual abuse, asking if they feel safe at home, looking for marks on their body, and paying attention to the language, their body language and their verbal language of how they're if you're asking about a specific person, maybe you suspect a specific person doing it to them, and you ask the adult or the child or the adolescent about that person, paying attention to if they're slouching, or if they're avoiding wanting to talk about it, that might be a sign. Also, just even teaching the child to say no, or some type of no or stop language. These types of words can help the person um, be thrown off guard if they are trying to sexually abuse the child. Also, to teach the child to remove themselves from, if that is happening, to remove themselves from that area, and to go somewhere where there are multiple adults, so that the offender can't continue to perform that sexual abuse. Um, just getting away from it can make the biggest difference, and just teaching them things that where they can protect themselves from future victimization. Anyways, thank you very much, and here are my references, and I hope you enjoyed it.